Started. For those of you who haven't been here before, welcome. For those of you who are coming back, we're really glad you're here. So these are the EMC Monday Masterminds. We do them on the second and fourth Monday of every month. My mom, my brother Dylan here on the call run a top producing team out of Westchester County, New York, and neighboring Connecticut. I'm licensed over here in Los Angeles, so we're sort of bi-coastal. And yeah, we host these calls to bring people together to learn from the movers and shakers of our industry who are really doing incredible things that have, skills to share that we think we can take back into our business to, really grow and build upon the real estate legacies that we're looking to leave. So let me let this PJ, you're in co-host duty, right? You see these people in the waiting room. Cool. So today we are very lucky to have author and realtor Stephen Ross with us today. He has, if any of you saw our promo, you're aware he's knocked on over 125,000 doors in his career, which is like kind of mind-boggling for me, who's not really engaged in door knocking yet in my career. So I'm super excited to learn from him, but we do want to kind of add this disclaimer, which is this isn't, and he'll talk about this, but this isn't really just about door knocking. This is about having more conversations that are going to help you grow your business. Just really talking to more people. So his experience knocking on 125,000 doors obviously lends itself to that. So really excited to learn from him. He is from Southern California, started his career there. Now he's in Colorado. He's been in the real estate industry a long time. I'll let him tell you a little bit more about himself, but let's get going. I'm excited to learn and be in this room with everyone. So
Great. Now, of course, my thing's not sharing, is it?
it looks like you tried to share, but it's just in
It's
it's
in
like a black
limbo.
screen, so maybe stop and try again.
See what
And
happens.
while you're doing that, why don't we have everybody, if you could take a moment to just say where you're from in the chat, so we get to know you a little bit as well.
Yeah, I really appreciate seeing so many people's cameras on today. It's really just nice to feel like we're in a room because sometimes these Zoom rooms can be a lot of no cameras and it feels a little disconnecting. So I understand if you have to turn your camera off because you're on the move, but if you're able to turn your camera on, we'd love to see you. Hi, Holly. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, I haven't seen Holly in a while, and Paul's
Let me
on
try it
screen
one
now too.
different
Hi,
way.
Paul.
Hi, good to see you.
Oh, and we have Ross here. Oh, Ross, this is Ross's first EMC Monday Mastermind. Ross and my mom go,
Thank you.
yes, and Ross and I are neighbors. Are you taking this call from across the street?
I am. Should I walk
Oh
out in
my
the street and
gosh.
wave at you?
Yes, exactly.
Actually, Stephen, you'll probably really appreciate this because Ross and I connected via Facebook. And I do this thing where if it's somebody's birthday, I reach out and say that I want to reconnect with my friends on Facebook one birthday at a time. And I reached out to Ross and he actually responded. And when people respond, I call them or talk to them. And we started chatting, and it turns out he's my daughter's neighbor in LA.
Like literally, I didn't know him, but he lives across the street.
Well, we
That's
had said
hilarious.
hello several times. You had waved walking by with your friends.
No, that was
And so,
after.
oh, that was? Oh, okay.
I had
Well,
admired your car from afar.
oh, okay. Well, anyway, there it is. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. And it is serendipitous how small the world is. And
Yeah.
It really
if
is.
you forget that, you'll knock on one door and find out it's your second cousin you haven't spoken to. So
That's
Exactly.
true.
I
Okay,
love it.
Stephen, we
All right.
can
So I'm
see it
so
now.
sorry for technical difficulties. Thank you, Colby. So yes, the thing that Colby neglected to say is I'm the worst kind of person to be a real estate agent because, well, I'm an introvert. I don't work nights or weekends. You can't find me online. I don't do parties or events. And I'm probably a little antisocial. And yet here I am in my 21st year of real estate, started in California and now I'm in Colorado. And I mean, I am going to talk about door knocking, but I am just curious who, and you just put this, I didn't put up my chat, so now I won't be able to see it, but who, put up my chat, who's knocked on doors before? You can either just yell out or put it in the chat. Let me just hear who's knocked on doors. Let me just hear.
I have.
Anthony, okay, Holly, or did you say a couple of you? All right, awesome, great. Okay. So those of you who've knocked on doors know it's a warm, fuzzy, inviting experience, right? They're just so glad you're
can be.
there. There's, oh my God, I can't believe you're at my door. No, who would never open their door for a door knocker? There's always at least one of you.
I don't.
Who said that?
Me. And I door knock.
Anthony. Okay, great, Anthony. So today, Anthony, I'm going to knock on your door and you're going to open it. The Spirit's going to move you. You're going to
Okay.
open the door and we're going to have a really great conversation. And you're like, oh, this guy's not that like a total clown. This guy's actually kind of cool. And afterwards I say, hey, let's take a selfie. What do you think?
I'm game. Let's do it.
All right, good. Well, as you can see, I mean, these are just some of them. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people have taken pictures with me. And the point is not about the people took pictures with me. The point is that we have to go out and connect to people. And whether you do it at the door or open house or your community, or it doesn't matter, right? It is about connecting to people. I'm going to jump around a little bit today. And this is about building a very, very, very simple business. I'm going to talk about the doors in a second. I used the doors to build a database. And most of you have a database. You do it anyway. You've built it probably some other way. But let me just hear from a few of you. You can either put it in the chat. You can shout out. How many people do you have in your database? Let's hear some answers. Put it in the chat, or you can just holler, come off mute. 1,200, 850, 400, great. 300, perfect. 1,500, great. Okay, awesome. Crazy amounts. All right, now let me ask it. Let me not reframe it, but let me clarify. How many of those people, if you call them, so you know, I knocked on Anthony's door. Let's say I got to know Anthony. Anthony's in my database, and Anthony and I now know each other. How many people, if I call, they're like, "Oh, hey, Stephen, how's it going?" Like they know it's you, and if they have a need in real estate or they know someone who needs help in real estate, the odds are good. I mean, they're not 100%, but the odds are good that they'll call you first. Does that number go down for anybody? Yes. Okay, great. So this is my premise. If you have 200 to 300 people, like I just described in your database, that database is good for at least 20 transactions per year. Because remember, if you have 5 people that buy and sell, that's 10. Everybody, if you don't have them, everybody should have a group of super referrers. These are like 5 to 10 people that just always refer you every year. They're just those people that know people, they're connected. It's not that the same 5 refer you, but of that 10, you know, so if I look at the top of my screen, so Colby, Eva, Dylan, Katie are at the top of my screen, and then it's Anthony, John, Frank, and Nancy. So the 8 of you are now in my sphere. It's not that all 8 of you are going to refer me this year, but maybe Anthony and Dylan and Nancy refer me, you know, each refer me 1 client. And one of those does 2 sides. So that's 5. So now we're at 15. Does everyone get the world of this? You don't actually need that many people to get to 20. So again, keeping it simple, you have a database with 200 to 300 people. It's 20 transactions per year. Now I know we have a disparate group here, but what can I use for this conversation? What should I use as an average sales price?
Somebody want to throw one out there?
Maybe 500,000.
Yeah, I was going to say 500 too.
Okay, so 500,000. Whatever you're charging is not enough. So let's say your average commission is 15,000. So your average GCI is $300,000, and you get to take a day off. I'm almost sure none of you or very few of you take a whole day off. No yawning, Joanna. You're going to make me yawn. Does anyone take a whole day off?
Does that mean not answering any phone calls?
Yes, the whole day, Eva.
Then the answer is no.
Yes. If you were to take a day off, what day would you take off?
I don't know. Thursdays.
Thursday? Never
Yeah.
gotten that answer. Okay, Thursday it is. I take Sunday. And you get to do that in 30 hours a week or less. Who's interested in that kind of business? Nobody.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
Couple of you. All right, Joanna, thank you. All right. I've woken up Joanna. Okay, perfect. Just teasing. You're a good sport about it. This is pretty simple, right? It's pretty simple. I was going to tell a story about taking a day off, but I'll run out of time. I'll have to tell that story another day. But everybody should take a day off. And by the way, if you don't like 300 grand, you can have more people in your database, so you can do more transactions, or you can raise your average sales price, or you can charge even more. So it's not hard to get to 400 or 500 or 600 and not kill yourself. I think the whole point of this is that everybody should see you don't need to do more. It's better is what you're looking for. And talking to people in a specific way is where it's at. And so I am going to talk about the doors, but I do want to just kind of frame a couple other points before I jump in. But before I do, I'd like to hear maybe just from one or two of you, or if the rest of you want to put it in the chat. I mean, you came here for the call for something, and I'm just curious, what did you come here for? What were you hoping to hear today? I mean, maybe you're just supporting Colby and Eva, but maybe there's something you heard in the description, or there's something in your business. What's a challenge that you're facing? So just get a sense of where people are at. One person come off mute and share it, and the rest you can put it in the chat so I get a sense from everyone. So who would be willing to come off mute and just share what's on your mind in terms of what you think you need help with in your business, or why you came, or the challenge you're facing?
Maybe I'd give someone else a chance if they want to go, since I'm part of the call. Does anyone else want to say?
I'll take it.
All right, go for it.
Who was I'll take it?
Seymour.
Seymour, great. Everyone else, all right, thank you, Colby. Everyone else, please put something in the chat. All right, Seymour,
All right.
my eyes are on you, my friend.
How you doing? I just transitioned full time. Been working a 9 to 5, so to speak, for a while now. Transitioned full time. So I'm part of the Fast Cap program here at EXP, and we're looking at geo farming. And door knocking came up as a part of that. So looking at tricks and looking for what you have up your sleeve to get into these doors. And you have any script that would make it easier, just to get a foot in the door, get some appointments set and some deals closed. I've had some experience doing solar in the past, but I was in that industry for a while. So
great. It's much easier in real estate, but it's different, and I'll explain in just a second. All right, so some of the other ideas, always open to new ideas. If you wrote that, there's a couple of you wrote, generally.
For me, if I can chime in.
John, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so actually, I was looking forward. I'm kind of looking forward to it actually, because it's really a great way to engage with people when they answer the door. Thing is, now I think more and more people don't answer the door because they have the ring or camera device at their door, and it's just been my experience the last time I went out door knocking for some, just people just don't answer the door. So but I'm looking forward to actually participating in that endeavor, because there's some, when people do answer the door, it's really, people are generally very nice, and
They are
easy to talk to.
They are great. Okay, great. Perfect. Thank you for sharing that. And I will get to that also, about, are people going to answer, and what's the best way to approach it. And then there's some other great answers here in the chat. I've never done door knocked. I'm interested in doing it, looking for inspiration, how to talk to different types of people. Okay, great. So hang with me for just a second. I'm going to go through just a couple things that I want to cover that'll make the rest of the conversation relevant. And we have till what time again, Colby?
We have another 44 minutes.
Perfect. Okay, good. I was making sure I was on the right track. All right. So here are other professionals and what they charge per hour. Now, we don't charge per hour. We get paid a success fee. But at the top, you have partners at other professional services firms, consulting firms, law firms, accounting firms. Then you have the associates in those firms. And then you have physicians, even physicians based on their specialty earn different amounts per hour. And then most salespeople earn less than $100 an hour. Here's the question, everybody. What's the difference between the people at the top and the people at the bottom? And there's a lot of answers.
People at the top ask for more money.
They ask for more money. I don't want to spend a lot. Masters, so some of them have education. Great, Dylan. What else? Just shout some stuff out. So education, charge more, specialization.
People
Great, Paul.
really think they need them.
What's that?
People really think that they need them.
Great. Yeah. Awesome. People think that they really need them. Here's another way to look at it. The people at the bottom are it's transactional. People here at the bottom sell houses. If you sell houses, you're hosed. People don't pay for that. People pay to solve problems.
Hmm.
And so these people are relational and consultative.
Yep.
So I say, who are you as a professional? So it doesn't matter what I tell you at the doors, to say at the doors or anywhere else. It starts with, how do you view yourself as a professional? Are you transactional or are you relational? Do you solve problems or do you sell houses? If you sell houses, it's like selling solar, CMAR. And you're going to get a lot of door. It's going to be a rough go because most people, if you think most people don't need solar when you knock on the door, they definitely don't need you. And so, but they have no problem talking to a professional. It's different. Another way to look at it, I won't do this exercise just well, maybe I will do this exercise just for a second. This is a very terrible exercise for you, the participant, because mostly you're going to get bummed out. However, it's an opportunity to reframe who you are as a professional. And if you look at where, along the side, what your income is versus the number of hours you work. And by the way, I calculated this over a 44-week year. None of you are taking 8 weeks off. You'll find, hopefully most of you are looking to see where you are on this chart. Most of you don't keep track of your hours, but most of you are working more than you think. If you're answering emails at 10 p.m. and then you don't go back to bed for an hour, you're working. If you're scrolling social media, you're working. When my wife is scrolling social media, she's looking at dog videos. It's purely entertainment. That's not you guys for the most part. So anyways, so this is my thing. If you are earning less than $100 an hour in real estate, you have two options. Number one, quit and get a job because you're going to make more money and it's less stressful. No giggles. I do mean it as a joke, but I am kind of serious. The other thing is commit to getting above the line because that's the whole point of being in this business. If you're going to earn less than $100 an hour, there's way more things you could be doing that you're going to earn more money with less stress. So the goal is to get into the green. And how you do that is declaring, I am that kind of professional, and deciding who are you going to work with? Because some people go to H&R Block for their taxes. Some people do them themselves, or some people go get real help. And Seth Godin says, when you pick your customers, you pick your future. And he draws a line. And below the line, you have people who are cheap, frazzled, in a hurry, They don't read or follow directions, and they're disloyal. Anyone work with these kind of people before? It sucks, right? Joe Polish calls them halves, hard annoying, lame, and frustrating. I just call them jerks. And what you're looking for is the people above the line that demand quality and they're willing to pay for it. Joe Polish also calls these people elves, easy, lucrative, and fun. You're not looking to find everyone. So when I go back to the database of 200 to 300 people, you want elves. You want people who are not this. So you're not looking for everyone. You're looking for the right people to be in your database. So Seymour, when you go to the doors, John, when you go to the doors, you're not looking for everyone. You're looking for your people. And if you're worried about the ring, or just consider the people who are your people are going to come to the door. It's totally fine. So let me give you an example, and I'll come back to this in a minute. I'm hesitant to stop sharing because I didn't get it to work last time, but I want you guys to see my face. So I'm going to give an example of what I said at the door so you get a sense of it's different than probably other scripts you've heard before. Is anyone interested in hearing what I had to say at the door? Okay. Thank you, Joanna. Holly, yeah, I've got a couple of nods. John, Seymour. Okay. So thank you, Frank. I need somebody to be the homeowner and I'm going to be the agent. Now I'm doing all the heavy lifting. You just got to be a homeowner. And so we can demonstrate what this is going to be like. So who'd be willing to be the homeowner? Not Dylan. Okay, Katie. Awesome. All right, Katie, you got to come off mute.
Okay.
Everybody give Katie a round of applause, virtually or whatever. Great. Don't worry, Katie. It's going to be easy. I'm doing all the hard work.
Okay.
And for everybody, be prepared to be underwhelmed and unimpressed. And I promise this is incredibly impactful, but it's not going to seem that way as I do it. And so I'll break it down after. All right, Katie, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Knock, knock, knock.
Hey, can I help you?
Hi, it's Stephen the Realtor. You seem busy. Is now a bad time?
What's your business, Stephen?
Well, what I have to say will take less than 2 minutes.
I can spare 2 minutes.
Awesome. I will be under that. All right, cool. So you probably, as I said, my name's Stephen. I'm a local realtor. You probably have no real estate plans this year.
That is correct.
And if you have no real estate plans, probably not paying much attention to the market.
That's also correct.
Might be wondering what this crazy realtor's doing on your doorstep.
That's also correct, Stephen.
Well, I'm Stephen. I'm a local realtor, the local realtor. I come by with a market update. Would you mind if I left it with you?
I'm okay with that. Sure.
Here, so hand you the market update. Cool. I know you're not moving. Just curious, how long you been here?
I've been here for about 15 years.
15?
Mm-hmm.
That's a long time.
That is a long time.
Where were you before?
I was in Oregon.
Oregon. All right. And so how in the world, coming from Oregon, did you know to pick this neighborhood?
This is where I grew up.
Okay. So this was coming back home.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And it's worked out okay. So you'll probably be here at least another 25 years.
I hope so. I really like it here. All my friends and family are here.
Great. Well, awesome. Well, my name's Stephen. You are?
Katie.
Katie, great to meet you. You'll see me come through a couple times here with a market update. Anything you need before I go?
Nothing I can think of, but if I think of anything, I assume I can call you based on what you left me.
You got it. That's right. Well, awesome. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day.
You too, Stephen.
And I'm off. Now, there's always one or two of you who are like, but where's the selfie? There's no connection. So the selfie's not a gimmick. The selfie was just, I'll tell the story if I have time later about how that came about, but we're looking for connection. Katie was pleasant. That was it. She gave me my You know, if we were, I wasn't timing it, but if we went back and looked at the clock, it was probably like 60 to 75 seconds. So before I break it down, I'd like to just hear some observations. Don't ask any questions yet. Let me just hear, what did you guys observe?
One thing I observed is that you gave her something, because generally when you give something to someone, they're more willing to reciprocate by giving back.
Okay.
So
Great.
first you gave her something, and then you began to ask questions, and it was much easier for her to share
Okay.
because she had received something from you.
Excellent. Great, John. Thank you. Perfect. Somebody else?
I think you just
You
really led with value.
Okay. Led with value. Okay, great. Nancy, did you come
you
off mute?
said your name several times,
Oh,
like
Dylan. Yeah, I
3 or
said my
4.
name. Yeah. Did I say my whole name or just my first name?
Your whole name.
No.
Okay. No?
First.
Oh.
Just my first. Like Oprah or Beyonce.
And Nancy, did you have something?
Well, I was thinking that kind of like in a way searching to kind of find if there would be a connection by just asking her questions about herself, just to kind of feel it out to see if there was a way that you could build that connection.
Is that a question or that was an observation?
I felt it was an observation
Okay, great.
that I saw you do.
Okay, perfect. Great. These are excellent. Excellent. Anyone else? And then I'll break it down. You can
You
ask
use
some
the
more
Ford
questions.
focus question.
What's that, Seymour?
The Ford.
Did I use Ford?
Yeah, you use Ford to kind of get them to tell you about themselves and
Okay.
go deeper into it.
A little bit. Yeah. Katie, you raised your hand, but you're back on mute. What were you going to say?
Just wanted to mention that in your approach, you weren't forceful, and being on the receiving end of this speech event, it made me feel really warm towards you. And if I knew anyone who needed any real estate assistance, I would refer them to you because you left very positive feelings in our interaction. So even if I stay here, I'd be like, oh, you know, this guy came to my door. His name is Steven. Here's this paper he left me. So
Great.
thought it was
All right.
really good.
This is all right. So perfect, Katie. I'm going to come back. This is all going to tie in. And I didn't pay Katie. Katie, have I ever met you before? No. So this is perfect. So I'm going to come back to just what you said, because that's exactly the experience I'm looking to leave for people. And it doesn't mean just because that's my intention, doesn't mean that's how everyone's going to be left, but more people are left, like Katie just said, because I did some very specific things. And most of you, or all of you, touched on them a
Can
little
I
bit.
mention something?
Yeah, go ahead, Frank.
Yeah, I love two things that you did is your questions only, of course, and that's giving you that control. And the other one is says before I go. So that was a cue that the meeting is over. I'm off your porch, and now they get relief from that. I used to use that all the time.
Yeah, great. Awesome. Yeah, great observation. Excellent. So, and Dylan caught the thing with my name, and thank you, Dylan. I didn't mean to pick on you with my first or last name, but since you brought up the name, I was just curious what you heard. But I did say it, but I did only use my first name, and I also never say my brokerage because it doesn't matter what brokerage you're with, they don't know, but they know what a realtor is, a real estate agent. So I always lead with that. Anyways, so the very first thing I did was, hi, my name's Steven. I'm a local realtor. You seem busy. Is now a bad time? And she said, well, I think she didn't say what's your pitch, but what's your business? Now, it doesn't matter what anyone says. I said what I said. And then I'm listening for, it doesn't matter what they say. I always reply. What I have to say will take less than 2 minutes. And then she said, what? Did anyone remember?
Something that she could spare that amount of time.
Right. Very good, Eva. So what do I have, everyone? What did I get in that moment?
Permission.
Permission. permission. When you have permission to speak with someone, it's a game changer. So when you call someone, particularly when when you're making calls, you could be calling another agent. You can hear him in the car. So I call Frank. I can hear he's in the car. Hey, Frank, it's Steven. I'm calling about XYZ listing. Sounds like you're busy. Is now a bad time? Well, Steven, I'm heading to an appointment. I got like 5 minutes. Great. What I have to say will take less than 2. And then he'll say, go ahead. It creates a totally different dynamic when you just do that with every conversation. Because and if you need more than 2 minutes, if you need a minute or 90 seconds or 5 minutes, or if you tell people and you get buy-in, it totally changes the dynamic. All right. So with Katie, I got permission, and then I used labels. They're like questions, but they're different. Has anyone read Never Split the Difference or The Full Fee Agent? Chris Voss?
No, but it keeps coming up and it's obvious I now need to read it.
Yes, you do. Colby, very good. After you've read my book, which Eva has already read, she has permission to go on to book number 2. You do not, just kidding. And labels are an assertion. It's not the truth. It's an assertion. And a label hits someone different than a question. So I said to Katie, you probably have no real estate plans. Now the odds are she doesn't, right? Most people are not moving the day I knock on the door. So I said, you probably have no real estate plans. She says, no, I don't. And then I said, you probably are not paying much attention to the market. She said, I'm not. So what I'm doing is creating some space. When I say you probably have no real estate plans, and she says, no, I do not, and I move on to the next label, it creates some space because I'm a real estate agent and we've already taken off the table. She's not moving. So it gives her a little bit more. So she gave me permission to speak. I said, I'm only asking for 2 minutes. She's not moving. We've already established that. Then I made a joke, probably wondering what this crazy realtor is doing on your doorstep. She smiled. I said, my name's Steven. I'm the local realtor. I've come by with the market update. You could have come by with an open house invitation, a just sold, a just listed. It doesn't matter what you came by with. Then I said, I used a no-oriented question. Do you mind if I leave it with you? Not would you like one? Because if I said, would you like one? She's going to be like, well, do I have to give you my credit card? Do I have to be on your mailing list? Like, what do I have to exchange for it? But when I said, do you mind if I leave it? It's pretty safe to say no. People feel safe to say no. I'll give you an example. Eva, can I have 10 grand?
No.
Yeah, pretty easy, right? People feel safe saying no. So she said, no, that's great. So I handed her the market update. And then I said, I know you're not moving. So I reestablished some safety. I know you're not moving. Just curious how long you've been here. She said 15 years. And I repeated 15 years. Great. Where did you move from? Moved from Oregon. Well, how did you? Then at the very end, I said, sounds like this has worked out. You'll probably be here another 25 years. I picked a long time frame. And when I do that, I usually get, this is called a mislabel. So I usually get one of 2 answers. I get hell yes or hell no. And she's like, no, I'm saying. Great. But often if someone has instead of asking, do you have plans to move in the future? I just say, it sounds like you'll be here, a label. It sounds like you'll be here another 25 years or 30 years. And if they're not, they will correct you. They don't even know that they're doing it. They're like, oh no, hell no. My wife retires in 2.5 years and we are getting the F out of here. Cool. Where are you going? Like I didn't have to say, when are you moving? Like they told me. I know it sounds like a trick question, but it's not really. I'm really just trying to connect with someone and find out where they're at, where they're going, how do they plan on getting there if it involves real estate. Otherwise, I'm just creating a space to have a conversation. So this conversation works at networking events, at open house, on the ski lift, anywhere. It's the same that's why I said, if you come to this, it's not about door knocking. You can go take this conversation when I'm on the ski lift, I live in Colorado. It's like automatic. I get on the ski lift. I'm next to someone I don't know. Oh, hey, how's it going? Where do you live? Oh, I live in Lakewood. Cool. How long you been there? Oh, we've been there 8 years. Oh, where in Lakewood do you live? I live da 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 da. Awesome. Where'd you guys live before? We lived in, wherever, Aurora. Awesome. Sounds like you guys like it there. Yeah, we'll probably be here another 10 years till our youngest graduates high school. I mean, it's like automatic. All right, what questions do people have about this, about the script, about having conversations?
I'm curious about two things.
Yes.
One, what would it sound like if they don't give permission? And two, what would it sound like if they're very engaged in conversation with you and they are actually looking to move, but they tell you, oh, I already have a friend or a cousin who's a realtor?
Okay, if they say, if I ask for permission and they say no, I say, great, have a great day, and I just go to the next door.
Okay.
Do you go back
Nope.
ever?
Oh, I mean, if they're a jerk, everyone has a bad day. So I do have a no jerk policy. But when you're knocking on someone's door, the odds catching somebody, literally, even when you and I and Colby were prepping, just a few minutes before the call, my doorbell rang with a door-to-door salesperson. I always answer the door, but I couldn't because I was on the phone with you. But people will come to the door and they'll be, because I interrupted their call or whatever. And if they're upset, fine. If they're upset more than once, that's not a coincidence. That's their way of being. And I skip them.
Okay.
All right, Colby, back to your question.
Yeah, if they say they're planning to move, but they already have. Maybe.
Okay, but that's not, so this is how it'll come up. So I say, it sounds like you'll be here another 25 years and you got to now be somebody. So you'll say what?
Okay. No, I don't think I'll be here 25 years.
Probably be here at least another 10.
Maybe I could be open to moving sooner. I love it here, but I love it a lot of places. I could see myself moving in 5 years.
Okay. Where would you go?
The Caribbean.
Really?
No, I'd probably move home.
Okay. And where's home for you?
New York. I live in California.
Okay. And where's home in New York?
Westchester County.
Okay. And so you know Westchester County.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've got a big boost of cash and you can live anywhere in Westchester County, and I don't even mean like the Powerball, but just, an extra boost, whatever that means to you. Where in Westchester County do you think you'd go?
That's a good question. I guess I haven't given it enough thought, but
Okay. All right. So just stop there right for a second. Everybody, if someone doesn't know where they'd go, they're not moving anytime soon. You do not need their information. I mean, you're welcome to get it, but it's an administrative nightmare that I don't want. Because remember, I only need 200 to 300 people in my database who know, like, and trust me as a real estate agent. I don't need 2,000. 2,000 is distracting. So I only need people who either know, like, and trust me, and are going to call me when they have a need, or it's someone that I meet somewhere that the need's more immediate. So let's say, does everybody live in the East Coast, or I mean in the New York tri-state area, or is anyone out of the, where do you live, Anthony?
he's in Long Island.
New York, yeah.
Oh, you're on Long Island. Okay.
Yeah.
How long you been
Show
on
of
Long
hands.
We
Island?
are pretty heavy on the New York, on this call for New York, but we generally get a big mix.
Okay. All right. So let's say, Anthony, so this would be a normal conversation, and maybe not as much for John in Atlanta. Seymour, where are you?
Connecticut.
Okay. Let's say you're in the Northeast and someone says Florida. Great. Where? If they don't know, they're not moving. But if they say Boca, cool. Sounds like you've been to Boca. I have. Sounds like you have some things that you like. I do. If you move today, what do you think would you buy? Condo or house? House. On the water, intercoastal, where? Intercoastal. See how specific? You will meet people and they will tell you because they have a vision of where they're going. In which case, then I get their information.
Yeah.
Because that person is more likely to move sooner than later. Now, I don't get their info and just go away. Okay, great. So it sounds like you know where you want to go. You know, when do you think, you know, what's missing between you and moving to Boca? Right. And I'm going to find out. I am not leaving that door until I find out when they have that in mind. And then let's say they say, so it's August of 25. Let's say they say, well, I retire next Christmas, 2026. Right? It's not quite a year and a half. Great. Do you think you're going to start spending time down there before you retire? See, I'm going to find out. I'm going to ask like 5 more questions. When do you see yourself actually starting to spend time in a place you own down there? It's another vision defining question. But let's say they say, actually, our plan is to buy something next summer in the slow season. Great. Sounds like you were able to buy without selling. We are. All right. Do you have an agent that you know and trust down there? No, we don't. Or yes, we do. Great. And then so I'm going to say, look, I come through the neighborhood 2 or 3 times a year, but the odds are I might miss you next time. Would you be opposed to us staying in touch? Again, a no-oriented question. No, I wouldn't mind. Look, I'm not going to spam you. I'm not putting you on an email list. I'm going to call you towards the end of the year, give you a quick update on what's happening in this neck of the woods, and just see how it's going down in Florida. If there's any extra insight, it will probably be a 2 to 5 minute call. So I'm setting people up for what's coming. So when I call them, it won't be a surprise. Does everyone get the sense of this? I'm a professional. I'm not a salesperson.
Stephen, I have a question if you think you have time for
Yeah.
this. That's very actually happened this past weekend or 2 weekends ago. I attended a party of a client of mine. I sold them a home for $3 million. I was one of my higher sales and we became pretty friendly, and they invite me to their daughter's birthday party. So I'm there with all of their friends, and I'm not in my sales mode because I don't want to, be that. And they introduced me to somebody who they think is probably going to buy in that area, in the future. So we start chatting, and I say to them, so are you, thinking about moving, or where do you live now? They live in Queens and blah, blah, blah. And it comes down to they're probably not going to be looking for 2 to 3 years. And I kind of stalled there. I didn't know, like, it seemed like a long time.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know where else to go at that point. And also because I was at a very private personal party, I kind of shut it down a little, but I did get their contact info. And now I'm in a process of, looking to reach out again. And
Yeah.
so I'm curious about that next step if you do establish, a nice conversation. It certainly seems like there's some place to go with this, but it also seems so far out. I'm not sure exactly how to handle it.
Yeah. I mean, if I sign an incredible opportunity property at half of the current prices, would you want to know about it? That's usually what I ask.
I actually did say something about, when I was talking about getting their contact information, I did say, because I'm looking at the market all the time and you never know when a good deal is going to pop up.
Yeah.
And then they did share their contact info. So maybe
Okay.
not as clearly as you said it.
That's okay.
But
Yeah. So I might, you'll have to decide, and you could lean on your friends for feedback, but you could, call them in a month, just remind them you met them, say, and get clear, I know you said you guys are moving for a couple of years, but if you had to move this year, where do you think you'd go? If you didn't have that conversation, just so I can have in the back of my mind kind of, what you guys would, and I know you're not moving for a while. So that's one conversation you could have. And then I'd find out also if they have other real estate agent friends and stuff like that. So
thank you.
the trick is, the reason why I like the doors is it's easy. I know I'm going to see people 2 or 3 times a year. I work the neighborhood. If you meet someone at a party, you've got to figure out how you're going to build that relationship.
Yeah.
And that's where people fall down, is you meet someone, but then how do you turn them into from a nobody to someone that trusts you?
Yeah. Hey, there's somebody in the chat that asked a question, so maybe I can put it forward for them. It says, so how are you getting the door-to-door people you meet into your database?
Yeah, I only put people in my database if I've met them twice, because I don't need an administrative nightmare. That was my experience. And because again, you only need 200 to 300. And, you know, as Maria said, what if they have a friend? Great. I'll just see how their conversation goes. Sometimes they have a friend, but I don't ask. See, I have 14 minutes. And what do I give them, Joanne? I give them a market update. It doesn't matter what you give them. It really doesn't matter. You know, what matters is the conversation you have. That's what's going to matter. Let me just share, real quick. This is in the book. If you end up buying a copy of the book, great. It's on Amazon. Hopefully this works this time. Come on.
By the way, while Stephen's pulling that up, because there is a pretty highly concentrated New York group here, Stephen has graciously offered to do something in person with us next week. And we will send that
week
out.
after. Week after.
A week after, I'm sorry, right after, yeah, the 8th, 9th, 10th, one of those days in there.
Yeah.
And so we'll send something out after this. So for those of you that are local, I know there's a lot of them, a lot of you here would love to see you there.
Not working. That's okay. What I was going to say was, to be, you know, when I'm talking to people, it's about being a trusted advisor. And in the book, I talk about this pyramid of being a trusted advisor and how you move up the pyramid as a function of your real estate IQ. You got to know real estate, and on the other half, you got to be emotionally intelligent. And emotionally intelligent covers a lot of different things. It's your social awareness, it's your empathy, it's your motive, it's a lot of different things. And to be more trustworthy and you just say to be more emotionally intelligent is difficult because it's very vague. And the book I'm writing now is How to Be a Professional Worth Hiring, which is the 13 virtues of being a trusted advisor. So I want to just share a couple of I wish I could put these on the screen. I don't know why it's not. Is
it a link you can drop to me that I can try sharing?
Actually, I got a better idea. Instead of sharing it from my iPad, I will just share it.
Better ideas than you, Colby.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say it that way.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I just can't draw when it's not on my iPad, but that's okay. This will.
I know that was pretty nifty.
Sorry, I didn't mean it that way. I was
kidding.
All right, here we go. Let's do it this way. All right, everyone can see this?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So these are the 13 virtues of being a trusted advisor. And so the worst thing I could do is read these to you. And that's what I'm going to do, because you got to get the essence of what's there. And so, now, by the way, this is from the client's perspective. This is what the client would say about us as their trusted advisor. So number one, they're an empathic listener. They don't listen just with their ears. They listen with their soul. Number two, they're not authentic. They're a real human being, not someone playing a role, and they're easy to be around. They're likable. Number three, I actually just rephrase this. They're objectively curious. They're neutral and objective, but they don't substitute their thinking or opinion for ours, but they do it in a curious, natural way. Number four, they're patient. They allow us to come to decisions at our own pace. Number five, they're grounded. They stay calm even when things go sideways. Number six, they're honest and transparent. They talk straight. We can count on them to tell us the truth, even when it's something we don't want to hear, or maybe owning up to a mistake or an area they were wrong. Number seven, they're collaborative. They speak with us, not at us. Number eight, they're committed. They care about me. They don't care about selling a house. They care about me and our relationship. Number nine, they have perspective. They know how to zoom in and zoom out. Number 10, they're courageous. They say the things that need to be said. Number 11, they operate with integrity. Their speaking has real power. They have deep respect for the words that come out of their mouth. Number 12, they have levity. They know when and how to use humor. And number 13, good stewardship. I feel protected. I know I'm in good hands.
Oh,
This is my wife's dog, Jerry. This slide has no relevance or context, but it makes me laugh. So that's why Jerry gets a view here. And the point of those virtues is when you're being those things, not everyone wants those things. Some people just want to hire someone for the cheapest fee. That's not who you're looking for. You want someone who sees you as a human being, as an advisor that they can trust and rely on to guide them and through a very uncertain process. Last time I checked, the market's pretty uncertain. Yes? When you're being those things, you're demonstrating you're someone worth your fee. So hopefully what you learned today is you talk to people. You don't need to put everybody in your database, but when you're working with them in this context, right, you are creating connections with people in a way where you become their choice. It's not even a choice. It's just their default. I know I'm going to call Holly. I know I'm going to call Frank or Paul or Joanna or Katie or John or Nancy. They're my person. That's who I call when I have a real estate question, because you've demonstrated you're this kind of person. All right. Any other questions before we wrap up that I didn't cover today?
Yeah, I noticed it seems like you kind of go against the grain in terms of, I would say most people are trying to contact and get as many names as possible
That's right.
in order to put into their CRM and allow the CRM to do the heavy lifting. So, but you're saying you're saying that you're being very selective in who you want to engage with or interact with moving forward. But it seems to me that even though you want to be selective, if the opportunity arises for you to get the information so you can put it in your CRM on that first visit, would that not be a practical thing to do?
That's okay, but I'm very selective of, my time is limited, right? As I went through the chart where I showed, hourly income, most real estate agents are earning less than $50 an hour. I don't know where you were, if you had done that exercise when I had it up there, but most are earning well below $50 an hour. If I believed I was worth, well, I believe still I'm worth $1,000 an hour or more. I only earned $500 an hour in real estate. So I don't spend my time where it's not worth $1,000 an hour. And spending my time with people who I don't know and they don't know me and the odds are low that they're going to call me is not worth my time. And so that's why I started with this context about having a database. You don't need 1 million people, and starting this in the context of who are you as a professional, or who are you as a salesperson. And if you're a salesperson, yeah, put as many people as you want. And eventually some of those balls will fall through the funnel, but you'll never make much money doing it. I mean, there might be 1 or 2 people who build a flywheel. You get all these people and all these leads, you pay for leads. But if you take all that cost out, you generally are not earning $500 an hour or more, generally. So my advice for most people who want to build their own advisory practice as a real estate professional, and I was a consultant for Ernst & Young, and I worked in New York City, and I lived in New York City, and my clients were on Wall Street. So I have been that kind of professional, and I remember what it was like. And that is my view in real estate, is I am one of those professionals. But you don't need to have had that background to be that kind of professional as a real estate agent. It's a declaration for yourself, as this is who I am, and then you act and behave accordingly. You got to know real estate, and you got to know how to talk to people. And when you marry those two, you can do any amount of business you want. I could move to Long. Where's Anthony? Is he off mute? Is he here?
He's here.
Where'd he go? I don't see his face. There he is.
I'm here, sorry.
Where in Long Island are you, Anthony?
Belmore, South Shore.
I can come to Belmore tomorrow and I could start selling homes pretty quickly. And I know Long Island sort of. But if I start knocking on doors and I start talking to people, I'm going to learn the market really quickly and I know how to talk to people. I'm going to do business. And so it's universal is what I'm trying to say. These skills.
I think that seeing the role play conversation between you and Katie was really helpful because that feels like such an easy thing. Once you really learn those skills and ask those questions in the right way, anyone can go out and have those types of conversations. You mentioned that Katie was pleasant, but it wasn't like necessarily going to convert into business. And you also mentioned that you wouldn't put someone into your database until after the second time having a conversation with them. So just curious, after a conversation like the one we saw you two have, what would be the step beyond leaving a market update and visiting again in the next
So
6 months?
I'm going to see her again. And the first time I created some space, right? I created some safety so that I wasn't a pain in the ass. I wasn't obnoxious. She's going to open the door again if she's home. Oh, she may remember my name or not, but what ends up happening is the people remember. They're like, oh, hey, Stephen, what's going on? And then, then I become familiar and then I become their person. Not for everyone, but for the people that become my people. So it doesn't matter where you build your business, the coffee shop, around your kids' PTA, your pickleball club, your swim club, your golf club, it doesn't matter. You build your community, you got to stay in flow with them. But
And is there
remember,
a time of day that
doesn't matter. Remember, I'm antisocial. I don't want to talk to anybody. I want to sit by myself. And so I don't like going to parties. I had to go to a wedding this Saturday night. I was so frustrated. I was like, work partner, my wife's, his daughter, it was amazing. It was beautiful. But it was like, I hate this crap. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not my natural it's not my natural state. But if I want to feed my kids, I got to talk to people.
When I read your book, Stephen, you
What's
talk
that?
a lot. When I read your book, which I read because you were going to be here and I wanted to know more. You talk a lot about the fact that you had to feed your kids, and that you were not, really looking forward to doing this door knocking thing. And I chuckled because I did a little door knocking in my past, not a lot, but I chuckled when you would say that, you would find every reason in the book why you couldn't get to that door that day until you finally got past that and it became a routine and it was something you did every day, and then you start to see the success, right?
Yeah, happens over time. So I put my email in the chat. If you want, if there's something you wanted to get that you didn't get, if you have other questions, if you want me to help you figure out something about your door knocking strategy that we didn't cover, happy to do a quick call with you. Yes, I do coach and train agents. It's not a sales call, but I know this was an hour and there's a lot of people and I know not everyone's questions are going to get answered. So if you want that or you're curious about something, just send me an email and I will call you or I'll send you my Calendly link or we'll work it out. And then that's all I got.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
Sure.
How are you dressed and how important is it the way you dress?
Yeah, you got to be a professional for your area. No one expects suit and tie anymore. I think they're going to be wary if you show up in a suit and tie these days. I used to wear like golf pants and a shirt like this in the summer and in the winter, because I live in Colorado, I had like a dress shirt. And then if it was cold out, I put a sweater on, sometimes a vest. And that was really all so I looked like a professional, but I was still comfy.
And
There's one other question. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. You go, John.
Yeah, real quick. Did you notice certain hours yield more open doors than others, etc.?
More people are home in the afternoon, but the time to go is the time you go consistently. I went at 11 a.m. I went 11 to 2. Why did I go at 11? Because that was the time I could rely on myself to go.
And then we had one question in the chat from Nancy. How many did you try to do each day that you went?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've done different things. I've done it by the number of people I've spoken to, the number of doors to knock on. I've done by time. And there's a lot of ways to do it. You can play with it. You should have I recommend having a goal, whether it's time. I've coached people who print flyers, so they don't leave it at every door. They just print a flyer for the people they talk to. And so they'll print 15 flyers or 20 flyers or whatever they print, and then they don't go back to their car until they've given them all out. You know, that's a great tactic. There's so many great.
That's another great story, Stephen, in your book. You printed up the flyer and it had one little typo on it, and so you couldn't go out that day. You had to go back home and print the flyers. I just mention that because I think it's so easy for all of us to have this intention and then find a reason and it doesn't happen. So if that's happening to you, you're not alone.
No, it's called Resistance with an R by Stephen Pressfield, but
Yeah.
So
rejection.
Stephen, if you want, like I said to everybody here, we send a follow-up email that'll have all the information in. If you're local and you can attend our event, and Stephen, I don't know, we'll work it out with you, but Colby and I can pick up some copies of your book ahead of time. And if anybody attends, we can hand you a book in person. Stephen can hand you a book in person.
yes, I will bring some with me. It's Thursday the 11th, Eva. Thursday the 11th.
Yeah, we just haven't locked down the time.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Thank you everyone so much for being here. Hope you learned as much as I did. Stephen, this was fantastic. I feel excited to knock on doors, believe it or not, or just to take these tactics into my conversations and just, you know, to really, really, really reshape the way I think of myself as a realtor. So hope you all felt that way too. We will see you in a few weeks. We'll be back on September 9th. We're bringing on commercial agent Paul Frank. He's freaking awesome. And he's going to talk to us about how you as residential agents can have conversations with your clients about really being an all-around advisor for them in real estate. You have commercial partners, you can refer their commercial business. You can help them not just buy a home, you can help them in all of their real estate needs. And so it's actually very, you know, it's a kind of a nice spin-off from this conversation to really make yourself more well-rounded as a real estate advisor. So.
And referrals on commercial deals is not chump change.
Yeah, precisely. So we will see everyone soon. Have a great week. Tune into our YouTube channel. This will be uploaded. You can revisit it, relearn, revisit the scripts, practice them, so on and so forth. And thank you. Everyone has Stephen's email. If you don't, just send me a message and I'll get you guys connected.
Thank you very much. My first time
Thank
here.
you.
It's perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks for
Stephen.
joining.
Appreciate it. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.